Why do you avoid taking risks that could have the biggest positive impact on your life? In a nutshell, we avoid these risks because it's scary. To gain something, you often have to lose something. Thank you for joining me, girlies. Today we are going to talk about why we don't take risks. We have 4 different parts to this. First, I want to take you through why we avoid taking risks. Then I'm going to get into my own story, how I went from rock bottom to literally rebuilding my life by taking calculated risks. Then I want to get into how risks can change you. To finish off, I'm going to get into some practical tips and tricks on how you can take aligned risks in your life. Oftentimes, the reason that we avoid risk is because we are scared of losing what we already have. So although it's comfortable and it's familiar, it is something. It's something we know, it's something we're familiar with, and we're often scared of losing that. We often cling to the familiar because even though it might be unfulfilling, it is safe. Oftentimes we stay in jobs that are unsatisfying, very comfortable, we're not really going anywhere, we're not feeling challenged, and we often do this because we're afraid of the unknown, we're afraid of that loss. So yeah, maybe the job is not exactly what I wanted to do, but at least it's a job. We often tell ourselves that it's one or the other. We stay in this safety zone where it's familiar, we might be in a job we don't love, but it's a job. And then we seem to think that option 2 is none of that. It's loss of job, it's no income, it's all of this combined. We convince ourselves that if we don't have the comfort zone, we have the complete opposite, or we have none of this. So we have no job, we have no income, nowhere that we're going, no direction. Oftentimes we avoid taking risks because we have no proof of concept. What do I mean by that? I mean that you have no proof, no stories that can back you up of times that you've taken that risk and it's been worth it or successful. We need to prove to ourselves that we can do it. We need to bet on ourselves and our skill set. A little later on, I'm going to get into how you can overcome the proof of concept fear. The truth is, the woman that you're trying to become that's confident and sophisticated and classy, she's on the other side of the comfort zone. So you have to take those risks to get there. A few years ago, I was at one of my lowest points in my life. I was in a relationship that was okay. He didn't mistreat me. It wasn't toxic. He wasn't a narcissist or anything like that. It was simply that. It was okay. I was somewhat settling. I thought it was good enough. We didn't have any big problems or anything drastic that was wrong with our relationship. I just didn't think it was the relationship that I was meant to be in. I thought I was destined for, that fairy tale romance. I grew up thinking that I was gonna find this great love where, we only have eyes for each other and I would be crazy about him, obsessed, and that would be the relationship that I found. That was not this. So I had to come to terms with, was I okay leaving this okay relationship that didn't really have anything wrong with it in order to take the risk to potentially be alone, maybe for life, maybe even give up on the opportunity to have a family because I do want kids. And was I willing to take that chance when I had what I found was a good man who had good, strong values and morals and was a nice person, even though it wasn't what I saw for myself. I remember going to therapy at the time, and my therapist asked me, are you scared of losing what you have and never finding anything like it again? And I had to be really honest with myself. And it was true. I was worried that I had something that was okay and I was going to sacrifice that for nothing better. At the end of the day, I had to realize that it was worth the risk. Although I would be risking this okay relationship, the flip side was hey, I might find my dream man. I might find the ultimate relationship that I was looking for. The risk of that was I might end up alone, but I had to ask myself, was I willing to live with the regret of never knowing that answer? And ultimately, no, I wasn't. A lot of times I ask myself when I'm 90 years old and I'm looking back on my life and I ask myself, do I regret not doing XYZ? Do I regret doing XYZ? If the answer is I do regret it, then I have to make that decision. I have to take that risk. I have to bet on myself.
You're happy mommy took risks, eh?
I had a friend during that time when I was in that okay relationship that looked at me and said, I think you know the decision you have to make, but I think you're scared of making it. And oftentimes that's the case. We know in our hearts what we should be doing, but we let fear take over and we don't do it. But I'm not gonna let you do that to yourself. That is literally the definition of self-sabotage.
No, we're not. Well, I'm not gonna let you do it. No.
Nala says no. When you do start taking those risks, you might be surprised at how much you change as a person. I know for me, my confidence went through the roof. I finally started betting on myself. I felt like I could believe in my skill set. No matter what happened, I was resilient enough to go through it. The growth that you will make when you believe in yourself and take the risk is going to be exponential. Every time you choose growth over sticking with the comfortable or sticking with the fear, you are telling yourself, I believe in myself. I can do this. I've got this. That is going to grow your confidence exponentially. And honestly, that's the kind of confidence that no one can teach you. It's learned confidence from those experiences, from believing in yourself and showing up and getting it done. The key here is taking risks is not about being reckless. It's about trust. You have to trust in yourself to show up for the risk that you take. I know what you're thinking. So, where do I even start? Do I have to quit my job tomorrow? Do I have to move across the country? Dump my boyfriend? No, that's not what I'm saying. Well, unless that's what's right for you. I like to think of it as a 3-step process. First off, check your resistance. Ask yourself, what am I actually afraid of? Oftentimes, the answer to this is not the risk itself, but it's usually the rejection, the judgment, or the loss of control that might come with it. Once you figure out what you're actually afraid of, it's also good to write down what the best case scenario is. Is it something that's worth the risk? Is the best case scenario your dream life? If so, it's probably worth it. Start by choosing the smallest brave thing. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow, but maybe it's posting that video. Maybe it's joining the gym. Maybe it's going on your first solo date. All of this compounds into confidence. Taking those baby steps, those small risks, those compound into the proof of concept I was talking about. That's how confidence is built, through proof of concept, not perfection. I know what you might be wondering at this point in time. What happened with my story? Did I leave the okay relationship? Did I listen to my therapist? The long and the short of it is, yeah, I did listen to my friend. I did listen to my therapist. I left the okay relationship. For me, it was worth the risk. I asked myself, what if there's something better out there? What if that love that I'm looking for is out there looking for me too? Even if I ended up alone, I knew that I wouldn't have any regrets. I knew that if I didn't take that risk, that I would always wonder and ask myself, what if? I was single for roughly a year, where I finally focused on myself, took myself out on solo dates, asked myself the tough questions, and worked on becoming the kind of person that I thought would attract my dream man. I met that dream man roughly a year after leaving that okay relationship, and he proposed 2 years later. Now I'm finally in a fulfilling relationship where I'm obsessed with him. I love him. We are madly in love. We are happily planning our wedding together. I just can't imagine things being any other way.
You love your daddy, right? Yes, we do.
I am in a relationship where my feminine energy is able to flourish. I'm able to be myself, and it's all because I took that time and took the risk of leaving the okay relationship. I think to myself all the time, if I hadn't taken the risk, if I hadn't left that okay relationship, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sitting here today, madly in love, planning my wedding, planning my future with the man of my dreams. I know it sounds cheesy, but he really is. All right, girlies, it's time to tell yourself you're done playing small. Let's do this. Let's bet on ourselves. Please like the video, comment down below what your favorite tip was, and also what risk you're taking in 2026, whether it's as small as starting to work out or trying to make new friends, to as big as quitting your job and starting a new business. Whatever's right for you, but either way, we need to start building the confidence to do so.
Kitty, kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty.
I don't think I'm doing it right, but comment below if you know what show that's from.